What if I told you that becoming rich has no risk involved at all? Would you believe me? What if I told you that you can quit your 9 to 5 job and enjoy your life like you have always wanted? Would you believe me? Probably not, right? So let me explain this concept a little bit and let's see if I can convince you to join the new rich. Let's say you're working a normal full-time job right now. So you're working 40 hours a week and your monthly salary is around $1,500 to $2,000. For some it's more, for some it's less. Now let's say you rent an apartment with a good friend of yours and you split all the costs. So you spend $200 to $250 a month to live in an apartment with internet and electricity. So maybe you have a shitty apartment and have to live in it for a couple of years, but you are generating income and you have low costs. So once you get home around 5 you start working on your business for the rest of the day. Another $200 is spent on food because you obviously have to eat. And that leaves you with a good portion of money to spend and invest on your business. Absolute worst case scenarios, you're left with $1,000 a month to spend on your business. You need money to start a business. And what is the easiest way to get money? Get a job. I fucking hate people who think they can sit behind their computers and press the enter button 1,000 times and boom, you're a millionaire. That's just not how it works. If you can invest $1,000 a month on your business or your ideas, it's just a matter of time something is going to work. So what's the risk in doing this? What is the worst case scenario? On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being no risk whatsoever, 10 being catastrophic and unfixable. How risky would this method be? I think we can all agree that there is almost no risk involved with this particular method. So rule number 1 is understand the risk and fears of making money. Huh? What? This book is called the 4-Hour Workweek, and now you're telling me to get a full-time job and work on my business? This must be a scam. Although I understand why you're thinking this, it's just not true. I absolutely agree that you can work 4 hours a week and make a ton of money. I absolutely disagree that when you start a business you can work 4 hours a week and make a ton of money. So how does one start a business that makes a ton of money with a 4-hour work week? You have to create automatic income. I think you all know The Wolf of Wall Street, right? If not, I'll briefly fill you in. Jordan Belfort wrote a killer sales pitch and sold penny stocks to rich people for tens of millions of dollars. When Jordan started doing this on his own, he made around $70k a year, working 50 to 60 hours a week. Once he realized that if he could do this, then he most certainly can teach other people to do it for him, right? So he hired a shitload of people and taught all of them how to sell these penny stocks to rich people, all with this killer sales pitch he wrote. Once this was done, he made millions of dollars a day while he was out being high on cocaine and passed out drunk everywhere. Now, I'm not telling you to get high on cocaine and pass out drunk everywhere, but you can travel the world and do nice things with your girlfriend or spend time with your family. He didn't have to work a single hour a week because he built this machine that generated income for him. Building this machine takes a lot of time and effort, but once it's built, it generates income without you even being there. He removed himself as the bottleneck of the business and created hundreds of mini Jordan Belforts to do the work for him. There is always a limit on the things you can physically do on your own, and there are many ways to create automatic income. You don't have to sell penny stocks to rich people like Mr. Belfort did, but I'm convinced there are 1,000,001 ways to become a millionaire. My father, for example, has a software company, and he is in no means a millionaire, but he gets a nice paycheck at the end of the month. It took him a lot of time and effort to get it off the ground, but once it was built, it generated income every single month. If you guys want me to, I can make a few videos on the things you can start with to create automatic income without a high investment, and how to create your first online business that generates income. So rule number 2 is create automatic income. Now, lastly, I want you to take a close look at the next example. Person A makes 100k a year and works 80 hours per week. Person B makes 50k a year but works 10 hours per week. Who is richer, person A or person B? If you answer person A, then you're right that he is richer in absolute income. If you answer person B, then you are right that he is richer in relative income. So what does this mean? The amount of money you make in a year is absolute income. But if you look at it from a per hour point of view, you'll discover something you might not knew before. Again, person A makes 100k per year and works 80 hours per week, thus makes $25 an hour. Person B makes 50k per year and works 10 hours per week, thus makes $100 an hour. Now, who is richer? Not only does person B make more money in relative income, he also works considerably less hours per week and gets to spend a lot of time with his friends and family. So how can person B work 10 hours per week? In the book, Tim talked about the Pareto rule. I guess you all know this one as the 80-20 principle. 20% of the things you do brings 80% of the results you want. Now combine this with the Parkinsons law. The Parkinson's law basically states that if you have 8 hours to complete a project, it will take you 8 hours. But if you wait to complete the same project until you only have 2 hours left, then you will complete the project in 2 hours. How many times did you start learning for a test way too late but still manage to pass the test? Combining the Pareto rule with the Parkinson's law will eliminate the tasks that aren't really necessary, and it will let you focus on the things that are important in order to complete the project as fast as possible. Now don't wait until the last 2 hours to complete the task, but just give yourself 2 hours to complete the task and aim for that target. Therefore, rule number 3 is focus on relative income and combine the Pareto rule with the Parkinson's law. To summarize, understand the risks and fears of making money, create automatic income, and focus on relative income and combine the Pareto rule with the Parkinson's law. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep reading as much as you can.